All right, what is up, Big 12 fans? This is Joseph back with the Big 12 Football Digest. And today we are talking about Colorado head coach Deion Primetime Sanders possibly going to the Las Vegas Raiders. There was an article that came out saying he has strong interest. I'm paraphrasing, but that's, roughly the idea that there is a lot of interest of him going to the Raiders. I'm going to give you guys my take why I think it will or wouldn't happen. Will or won't happen. I want to hear what you're thinking, though. So comment down below. Do you guys think that Prime would leave if the Raiders job was available? Do you think that he won't leave? Why? Why not? I want to know what you're thinking. Also, some thoughts on, hey, if Prime were to leave, where is the state of the Colorado program, right? Does it fall apart without Prime, or has he built it up to have so much hype that maybe, would continue a lot of the success we're seeing? I'd love to know what you're thinking. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We put out a ton of Utah Utes football content, Big 12 content, and content for every Big 12 team. Yeah, that was a misspeak there. The channel used to be a Utah Utes channel, so now I'm doing all Big 12 content. So make sure you guys stick around, hit the notification bell so you always get alerts. And let's go ahead and talk Deion Primetime Sanders. Okay, guys, let's start by putting the article up on the screen here. So Deion Sanders expresses interest in Raiders coaching job. Colorado football coach Deion Sanders had his eyes on the Raiders coaching job. According to a person with knowledge of the situation, he has a very strong interest in the job, the person said. The person indicated that the NFL connected associates of Sanders reached out to the Raiders to express Sanders' interest in the opening. The Raiders have begun to interview candidates to replace Antonio Pierce, who was fired Tuesday after the team finished 4-13 in his first full season. There's a lot of guys interviewing for this job, but that is what the article says. It's pretty open-ended, right? It's just saying that Sanders people reached out to the Las Vegas Raiders to say that he had very strong interest in the coaching job. I'm going to take the article off the screen, give you guys my take now. Okay, so a couple thoughts is right out the gate, Prime obviously is very close to his children and very much cares about the relationship he has with his children, which I would say, no matter who you're a fan of, no matter what team you're a fan of, if you have kids, you could see how awesome it would be for them to get to such a high level and for you to be able to continue to be their coach, right? A lot of people get to coach their kids at some level when they're in elementary school, middle school, whatever. But then as they get to higher levels, the odds that you're a successful enough coach to continue on that journey with them, or that they're successful enough to continue to higher levels, becomes very low. And so this is a very unique experience that very few people will ever get to have, where you're coaching at a P4 level and your kids are not just players on the team, but star players on the team you coach. And so it is a very cool experience. And I think my mind jumps to the idea that Prime maybe want to go where Shador goes, right? If he is going to the NFL, if a team has very high odds of drafting Shador Sanders or does draft Shador Sanders, he wants to go with that team. At least that's my thought process, is he wants to go where Shador goes. And I also think if he puts it out there, like if he decides, hey, I'm going to the Raiders are hiring me, it will be clear that Shador is untouchable. What is the NFL draft order this year? Let's see. So the Raiders have the number 6 overall pick with that 4-13 record. And so what that means is that if Prime were to lock in with the Raiders, it would be, very broadcasted, at least behind the scenes, to the other teams, that Shador will not be going anywhere except the Raiders. He would be a first-round pick to the Raiders. I mean, I feel like that's unquestionable, right? That would be the purpose. Like, the Prime would get to go coach the Sun. And I think, if I'm being honest, I think Prime would be open to any of the coaching jobs that could pick in a Shador Sanders range, right? And so I think that'd be great, right? I honestly also think there could be the idea that, hey, if you know for sure that you're going to go play with your dad, I think they could load up on other draft picks and possibly pick Shador later and work out a bonus or something and not have to give up the draft capital. I think that's kind of exciting. But that's kind of the case for why Deion would want to go with Shador, right? Why he would want to go to the Raiders or whatever team it is that he would go to in the NFL. The other thing is, everyone has he's a very ambitious person. I think we all have some sort of ambition inside of us, and he's done it at the FCS level at a very high level. Now he's done it at the FBS level, I would say at a very good level, not quite an elite level. I think, you'd want to win a conference championship. You'd want to win a big bowl game, but he's done 9-3 in a power conference. He had an impressive year last year. And he took a team that was, basically garbage. I mean, Colorado was terrible when Deion got there, and they struggled for a year, even with the talent. And then last year, this past season, they did really well. Now, why would he stay? So I would point to Juju Lewis. So that's the 5-star quarterback that they picked up recently. Now, everyone has been aware that Shador is going to be a first-round pick, or at least the likeliness of it being extremely high for a while now. I can't imagine that Prime was sitting there with Juju Lewis and just telling him like all this stuff, being like that I'm going to be your coach in the future. And Juju would be willing to commit to him, and then Prime would just go to the NFL. Just being real about that. I don't see that being super likely, right? That he would just leave to the NFL after building such an awesome program. And in the modern day of college football, like for the right program and for a guy like Sanders, if the school's willing to pay him and the school is, willing to make it work because they understand how valuable the brand, like he is to their brand, like the difference, I think they can make the money just as good, if not better, than an NFL head coaching job. Just being honest with you, like Prime is, I don't think you have the same effect at the NFL level that you do at the college level, where you can bolster a program just by your presence. The NFL is just different. Like look at Delaware State, for example, right? Deshaun Jackson goes to Delaware State. They've picked up some good recruits since he went there, right? There's something about this whole like big personality, big famous celebrity football person that has a great background in football and lots of success in football going to a program and rebuilding it. It does seem like we are, seeing that to quite a high extent here. I said Delaware State was Deshaun Jackson. I just want to confirm that in case I need to correct that. Coaching. Yep, Delaware State. Yep, that's Deshaun Jackson. So, anyways, though, I think he's built such a great program, and I think he's brought in top recruits very recently that I can't imagine he would just duck out and go to the NFL. Maybe there's stuff behind the scenes we don't know, but that's kind of my take on it. Before we get out of here, guys, I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. Comment down below. I'm going to give you my final thoughts here in a second, but comment down below. What do you think? Is Prime leaving? Will he stay? Make sure you guys like the video if you appreciate the content. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. I'd say in my perspective, I think it's kind of 50-50. I think the fact that they just brought in a 5-star quarterback really makes this situation confusing, and they are continuing to bring in really good transfer portal classes. I think they may have the number one transfer portal class. Let me look up Big 12 transfer portal rankings. Transfer portal rankings. They've brought in a lot of big players in the transfer portal. 2025 Big 12. Okay, so they have the number 2 transfer portal class in the Big 12 right now, and then recruiting class. Let me see what they've done there. I think they might have the number 1 Big 12 recruiting class. Boom. So they have the number 5 recruiting class with 6 4-star players. Did Juju? What is he? 20? Oh, I guess Juju Lewis went down to a 4-star, but he was a 5-star previously. So I'd love to know your thoughts. My take is it's kind of 50-50 where I think there's a shot he goes to the NFL. You see the appeal in that. It's the next level of competition. He's shown that he could do it at all the other levels. And he's going to be at a place where the playing field is even, where it'll be good and bad, where his fame isn't going to help him as much, but also he'll be at a place where he won't have to worry about playing from behind and having to just recruit like crazy. It's going to be more about coaching and being better than the other team, good and bad there. But then also, he's built a great roster at Colorado, and I think their trajectory is heading towards being a consistent P4 contender. So I'd be shocked if he would just leave that all behind, right? The amount of effort that this takes is not small. So is what it is, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video. I'm out of here. Go Big 12.